It's Thursday here on Let's Talk Football on the sportshacks.com. And once again, this week, we're bringing forward our League of Ireland podcast by a day because tonight, again, Derry City and Bohemians are both in European action. And of course, on Tuesday, such a big result for Shamrock Rovers in the Champions League. Joining me, as always, to discuss all of this and a whole lot more around the League of Ireland scene is Daryl Geraghty, our resident League of Ireland expert and a man with his finger on the pulse. Daryl, you're very welcome again.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me back, as always.
Let's start, Daryl, with Shamrock Rovers in Europe because they were 2-0 down from the first leg away in Malta. They went 1-1 on the night, and then they turned on quite the masterclass because for League of Ireland fans, this was a record performance in so many ways, but particularly one for Graham Burke.
Yeah, it was magic, wasn't he? That's his goal was the Borky, the perfect, as I think Mark Buchanan said, which was a great description. It was just top class. Yeah, Rovers went to a different level. As we've been saying all season in the domestic campaign, is have they reached the levels? Everyone's speaking about levels, and last night they showed what they can do when they get an occasion at home. That was, it was different class, and Floriana couldn't live with them at all. They were just quality all over the pitch.
It was very much a night for teams proving themselves because Spain did it finally. They turned on a performance against France and Rovers did it against Floriana. But the manner in which they put those goals, as you said, Graham Burke, he out-Burkeyed himself. But I looked at it again this morning on the highlights package. The skill to get him to the edge of the 6-yard box and then the finish was quite sublime.
It was magic, yeah. And Stephen Bradley made a good point. I know Burke reached the record himself. But I think Stephen Bradley's point after was good, that he made the point that Burke's not a number 9. He's not a penalty box striker where he should be mopping up these chances and getting records as a number 9. But he's all over the pitch, and he still has that quality to finish wherever, which was a good point. And he was just different class. And then Jack Byrne followed it up as well. That was it. Jack Byrne striking top corner.
On any other night, that would have been goal of the night, if not goal of the season. But I think Graham Burke, as Stephen said, we've seen Glenn Crowe, we've seen Jason Byrne, we've seen David McMillan, who had the record in Europe up to now. But they were out and out goal scorers. They were poachers. Graham Burke is anything but a poacher.
Yeah, exactly. And at this stage of his career as well, which I hope you don't mind us saying, he's playing more regularly than we probably would have expected as well. And he's still finding his level, and he's untouchable on that form. And Floriana found that out last night the hard way.
We will have a week soon, I promise, where we won't discuss Pico Lopez. But the fact that he was back to lead from the back, the fact that I saw every time they scored, he was rallying the troops afterwards, and particularly when they went ahead on the night and ahead on aggregate, he was making the point to them to concentrate, to keep the heads, to stay focused. That experience does make a difference.
It does, yeah. You can't buy that experience, like you said. You can't put a price on it whatsoever. And another aspect they seemed to find in the performance was having him behind the midfield. It kind of gave the midfield that extra couple of percent to actually go forward a bit more up the pitch, knowing that Pico was behind them to kind of mop up whatever comes their way. I know they conceded, but it's kind of happened against a team of Brazilians and Argentinians. But yeah, I think having that foundation of Pico back and rallying the troops, like I said, it gave the team a bit more freedom maybe going forward, which, if he's not there, you're kind of looking over your shoulder a bit more. But definitely he made a difference, and it was great he had his moment at the end, to the fist bumps to the crowd and that. So great occasion.
We did discuss Jack Byrne earlier, but I think, when we look back at this season, his return to form, first of all from the Middle East after that loan spell with Dubai Irish, but his return to form, his return to the team, I think that's going to be one of the talking points when the season's over.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's a reason why he was called into the Irish squad for training that. So, it's like finding that level, like Burke was saying. We're saying about Burke all through the season. Can he get that level again? And he started to hit that form. He does make a difference to Rovers. He makes them tick. He picks up pockets all over the pitch, which is hard to mark. And then he has that quality then to make a pass, whether it's 5 yards or 45 yards. He does have that quality still, and it's good to see him finding his best level again. And obviously his finish was beautiful.
World class. Difficult trip ahead now because they've opened up the Champions route to the next wherever they end up in Europe. They've opened up that Champions route. But they have to go to Armenia now. I think they're going to fly on Sunday by all accounts. It's an 8-hour trip. We've seen Irish teams go there in the past, and it's not an easy place to get to or to play in. So it is going to be difficult. But the good thing is the second leg is at home, and Tala really needs to be rocking then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Like last night or Tuesday night was the prime example. Like what an occasion can do for the team, and having the fans really behind them. I know they were chasing the 2 goal lead, and ideally they won't want to bring a 2 goal deficit back this time. But they've shown and they've proven again just what they can make Tala. It can be a fortress, and especially on a European night like that. So it will be a bit tougher, we know that, but I still think having the second leg at home is just it's like a joker, isn't it?
We'll talk about another
Yeah.
2 goal lead because Bohemians. I saw a lovely tweet today from Davy Keogh saying hello from Dublin Airport on his way to Gibraltar for Bohemians against St Joseph's. And Davy is one of the great Ireland fans, but he's also one of the great League of Ireland supporters. It has to be said, and it's not just about international football for him. But Bohs now are travelling in Europe for the first time in a number of years. They're bringing a 2 goal lead to Gibraltar. They're probably a little bit conscious of what Floriana brought to Dublin, and it didn't work out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll have to be in their minds for sure. I know on last week viewing, St Joseph's weren't great, really. Not great shakes, and it was more frustrating night maybe for Bohs than they probably would have hoped to maybe add another just to really seal the deal. But yeah, we've seen that's the saying, isn't it? 2 goal leads the most dangerous in football for a reason. So yeah, that would be a nice little reminder to the Bohs squad traveling on on Wednesday that yeah, look, we need to be on it straight away from the start, and we can't let anything slip. So but I still think they'll have too much. I didn't really see much in the St Joseph side that could really push them over the full 90 minutes.
And they're at the start of their season as well, aren't they? They're not halfway
Yeah.
through like Bohs are. Derry City bringing a deficit to the Brandywell, but not anything that they should really worry about. If they can get stuck in early on against CSKA, they have a real chance here.
Yeah, I think I got that sense watching it that when they scored, there seemed to be a bit of a belief going through the Derry side that look, we've scored, we can score against these, and the fear just seemed to go out of their game a little. I know since they've relayed the Roy McBride Brandywell, the grassroots, they're trying to really kind of build up as a fortress or build up as something serious or a fresh start. And a European night on will just go miles to actually cementing that as this could be a fortress for us going forward. And like I said, the fear's gone out of the performance. And I fancy them to score a couple at least.
They need a
Yeah.
big win as well, don't they? As a season, they need something now to grab hold of.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and you see the sign of Dara Burns coming back in, kind of seen as a statement of intent almost that they paid the fee, they knew what they wanted, and they got him in quickly. He has obviously the League World experience. So that's a good sign, a really good sign, and it just makes them even more dangerous going forward. So yeah, this will be a real confidence boost and a real almost a reset if they get through or pull off a magical night for the rest of the season now.
So while they're
So
all
look forward to
worrying
it.
about passports and border controls, etc., the rest of us have a cup to look forward to the weekend. And of course, Bohemians don't have anything to worry about this weekend. We'll go back to that in a second. But the big standout game and the big standout story of the week away from Europe has to be John Russell's appointment as Shelbourne manager. We spoke here previously, Daryl, about this fact that they were using Jamestown Analytics. We were told, or we're led to believe, in the recruitment of a manager. I think we spoke about the fact that you can have the best statistics in Europe, but it won't help you going to the Sligo Showgrounds, ironically,
Definitely.
on a
Yeah.
Friday or on a Saturday night, as it tends to be down in Sligo. But they've gone with a manager who knows the league inside out. They've gone with a manager who knows playing in the league and managing the league. Interesting, considering they were supposed to get David Healy. That was what everybody was saying. There was a number of stories around the place saying that they were in advanced talks with him. My information is that Mark Kennedy was very keen on the job as well. So they have gone close to home. Were you surprised by that?
I was more surprised that John took it, to be honest. Because the more I think about it on the footballing side, it's a good decision for John to have a bigger staff, obviously bigger budgets, Europe to look for. It's yeah. So from the football side, I can understand the timing. Maybe John felt he took them as far as he could. He's been on this merry-go-round for years now. I know balls are sniffing around before Alan Reynolds to see if he'd be interested coming up. I don't think the timing was right. So he has been on the radar of a number of teams for years. It's just the timing had to be right. But then the more you think about it, he had more control in Sligo. And like we said with the analytics side, is he relinquishing a little bit of control to take the job, or has he been given assurances that no, he can bring and pick and choose who he wants and player wise? Kind of like the Javi Alonso role at Chelsea when they basically had 3 or 4 different sporting directors and they just gave Javi Alonso the keys to say, here you go. They're kind of going back to the old style. So I wonder if that was part of the negotiations. Hopefully we'll find out over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, off the pitch, it's fascinating to see
And
just how he fits in the group. Yeah.
And the demands are going to be very different at Shelbourne. I mean, Sligo is a great community football club. Now, look, they have demands as well. I'm not saying for a second they're not as demanding. They want to see their team compete. But at Shelbourne, you got to compete straight away.
You do. He said that that's what attracted him to the job as well, which was a good line to jump on. We all know what type of football he can play with when he has the right players, and he definitely has the players with shells. The only big question now is, does Harry Wood stay? Because obviously the interest is getting serious now from across the water. I think Luton are properly sniffing around. So.
Apparently, he's already been seen in the departures lounge at Dublin Airport on his way to Luton Airport. So you never know.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be a massive blow, and something I'll hope get over straight away. I'm sure the analytics team have a list of players for him. So, but yeah, fascinating to see how he fits into the dynamic of the Shell setup. But we know football and boys, I'm a big fan. I always said that his football is excellent. So, and he has the squad now to do it. So, really fascinating to see how he gets on.
And he will know how to cope when he goes to the showgrounds. He doesn't need a computer to tell him how to. In fact, I think they've already played Sligo away, so he won't have to worry about turning the wrong way in the dressing room until next season. It's the cup, as we said. Shelbourne have to go to Kerry. Welcome to reality.
Yeah, and it's still fresh in the memory when on John Russell's last trip down there with a Sligo team, when I think it was 4-3, wasn't it? Last year, I think Owen Eldon hit that hat trick, but still wasn't enough. So he has bad memories, and it's a baptism of fire almost, if anything. So
you can't write this, can you?
You can't. No, it's just a great script, and we hardly hope to get over and really make a statement to the fans and put on a show, basically football-wise, to say, look, this is serious. This is what we're going to do. But there's always a but. It's a long trip down there, and they'll be well up for it, So they're looking for an upset, definitely.
Fascinating cup tie. The other, I mean, this is a bit like the 64 team World Cup. There's so many teams in the cup.
Just a few.
Is it the Club Orange Cup? Is that what we're calling it now this season? Club Orange Cup. But definitely there's a lot of oranges in the mix this weekend. The other tie, I think, until we get to the serious end of this competition, there's no point, I don't think, in us looking at all the games. But Rovers at home to Cork City. Rovers, as I said, going to Armenia on Sunday, 8-hour trip ahead of them. Big result on Tuesday night. Big performance on Tuesday night. Stephen Bradley has to be thinking about shuffling the decks here. Now, to be fair, the players he's going to bring in are going to be very good. But Cork City will fancy themselves.
They will, and the good thing from the Cork point of view is they basically have the first division wrapped up, so they can really put all their eggs in this. It's not like it's a 2-horse race where they might be looking over their shoulder at a team, that they can actually go full pelt now on Friday, which is dangerous for Rovers. But then, as much as I keep trying to talk myself into an upset, you look at what Stephen Bradley can bring, and it just kind of deflates you a little. So, yeah, that's the game I'm heading along to. So I'm looking forward to it. And if any, I think this is the one, really, isn't it? If there's an upset, it's going to be here, because Cork will be playing with no fear and hoping to catch Rovers with more than one eye, if that's possible, on Sunday.
We saw how much Rovers enjoyed that double last season, and the first time in so many years. Strange one, this, and we'll finish on this before we have a quick look at the Women's National League. But Ringmahon against Bows would have been one of those fairy tale stories. Queevy and Kelleher's old club taking on Alan Reynolds' side, fresh out of Europe. Game supposed to be played on Sunday. Ringmahon said there were alternative dates. The FEI didn't agree to them, according to Ringmahon. Then Ringmahon used, allegedly, the All-Ireland hurling final as one of the excuses for not playing on Sunday. And of course, as we all know, Cork are not playing in the All-Ireland hurling final on Sunday. So that backfired on them. Then they had a little cheeky story on social media about not being able to watch the All Ireland hurling final involving Cork, etc., etc. And the FAI hit them with a ton of bricks.
They did, and they deserved it, absolutely. And it's such a bad look. We're trying to, like you said, promote the league and professionalism from top to bottom, and this is just horrible. And I was happy with what the FAI did. They didn't hold anything back. But they tried to own it almost, like you said, the social media posts about looking for a friendly when Cork got knocked out as well. The optics of it aren't great, and like they really, like, that could have been someone else's dream toy. Another team who would never get to play a team like the caliber of Bows, and they just kind of pushed that aside and made a joke of it. Really, it didn't sit well, and I was glad that they got punished like they did, because from their point of view, like, it's an ideal time to play Bows as well if they.
And it's more the Intermediate Cup ban that's going to hurt them. I know they're going to appeal it, but the Intermediate Cup ban is hurt them. They mightn't get the FAI Cup again, although even though it's as expanded as the World Cup. But look, we'll see what comes out of that. Finally, just to finish, Darrell, a big bit of breaking news in the Women's National League, and a big move on the cards.
Yeah, Maria Reynolds, the centre half of Shamrock Rovers, is on her way to Sheffield United, which is going to be a record move for the Women's League. I know Carla Ward is big behind this move. She wants Maria, who she called into the training squad a few months ago, she wants her to play full-time football because she sees something in her that she could be an international going forward. It's a great move for her, a great move for Shamrock Rovers, and puts the league again on the map, like you were saying with the men's side. To take the league serious, we can develop these players here. I know it's still peanuts compared to what other transfer fees are going. Like, you see, Alexia Putellas going to London. So it's peanuts still, but it's putting us on the map to say that we do have the quality here. But I'm sure it won't be the last one to go past.
But it is important to keep breaking that ceiling, that glass ceiling. Just step by step, just keep making the progress.
Yeah, it is. It's just, you want a bit more professional to kind of hope that the clubs who develop these players get their rewards as well. Because if you hear transfers in the league where the agents don't even call the clubs because of the type of contract, they don't need to. 1 week they're in training, the next they're gone. So you do hear these horror stories, but this will, like I said, putting it on the map. I'm hoping that there'll be a few more now that follow in our footsteps for fees. Maybe if they're not as much, we'll see down the line. But there's a few stories going on in the league. Piedmont's rebuild is going well. They've announced, I think, must be nearly 10 signings by now. So Alban Heiss is the old Bows manager, is taking that job. So basically rebuilding all in the one summer. So that's another one to look out for, just if he can get that team to click. But the big final on Saturday now to look forward to, the All Ireland Cup final. Shelbourne at home to Galway. So I'll be at that one as well. And this is going to be a cracker. So
Galway, correct me if I'm wrong, we're 3 up last weekend?
3 up, yeah. I was doing the game and they were absolutely cruising. It was going to be the easiest report you've ever done. You had and then Roberts got one before the break, and James O'Callaghan, like he does, he's not afraid of a hairdryer treatment at half time. And you could see, I don't know if Galway had one eye on Saturday, but he got his Rovers team playing absolutely flew out of the traps and got the draw, and actually could have nicked it at the end to make it 4-3 to hit the post. So it's not all done and dusted in that league just yet either. It's going to be exciting race.
That's going to add to Saturday's final as well. Is it going to add to the intrigue for that one? Yeah,
absolutely, because Galway know that's almost back to the 3-horse race now for the league, with Shelbourne just 4 points behind. So it's a fascinating league, and every week has, like I said, always stories in the league. So
you're on cup duty on Friday, you're on cup duty on Saturday. Darrell Garrity, as always, we wish you the very best luck with that, and we thank you for your time here tonight on the League of Ireland edition of Let's Talk Football. Thank you, Darrell.
Thanks very much, and speak soon. Thank you.